How's it going, fellow foxes? My name is Solaito and welcome back to another Cats or Crash Arena Turbo Stars video. So in one of my previous videos, it was highly requested that I did like some kind of beginner's guide or like general tips about the game. And I thought that was a very great idea because I've been playing the game for about 2 weeks now and I have really a better understanding about the game than I did previously. Also, I want to thank you guys a lot because recently we hit 10,000 subscribers. That's quite great and I definitely plan on celebrating that, but I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that right now, but I'll definitely, don't forget that and make a special video about that. But for now we're going to do like a beginner's guide, like general tips about the game. So if you want to improve your cat's gameplay, definitely keep on watching this video. I'm going to give you quite a few tips here. Okay, so I'm really going to cover all of the aspects about the game. So the first one which you should cover is obviously here the league. Now, one thing I want to recommend you is don't go through these leagues too quickly. They really don't matter. So as you can see, I'm currently in the Golden League, but you start off in the Wooden League, then you go to the Stone League, then you go to the Bronze League, then to the Silver League, and then you end up in the Gold League like me. One mistake which you can make, which I actually did, was getting to the Gold League as fast as possible. It really isn't worth it, and there's really no point to it. So, what would I suggest? Well, basically, try to always get the second reward, which is basically like the chest here, which you can see the super box. You want to get that reward, but don't go for the legendary reward, you know. At least don't specifically go for it. Obviously, you will get ranking points by just doing quick fights, but don't just do quick fights just for the purpose of getting ranking points and climbing the league. That's a bad idea, because what will happen after 5 promotions, you will be stuck in the Golden League like me. And look at this. I'm currently at the 30th position, which means I will only get like a regular box, which isn't very fancy. And all of these guys are just so much stronger than me. Like if you just look at the top 2 here, like how much ranking points did those guys have? Like 1 million? That top guy has like 1 million ranking points. That's pretty insane. And like the second guy also. And like the first guy, he has already prestiged 10 times. That's crazy. I can never win from those guys. So I can never really get like those legendary chests here. So I'm not entirely sure how the league system works and how it determines who you're going to be matched up with. But I would really recommend don't go up too quickly. It's not worth it, and you'll just be stuck here like me getting those regular boxes, which is kind of boring. So I would suggest really staying in the Stone League and like getting those super boxes in the Stone League, and then naturally progress to the Golden League and then get your legendary boxes. That's really a very good advice in my opinion. Also, I'm sitting really comfortable in my couch, as you can see. I like to play in my couch, so that's why you might see me like at a very strange angle. I don't know. Okay. So, what more advice do we have for you guys here? Well, the next advice which I'm going to give you is related to these cat paws, these blue cat paws. As you can see, I currently have 1 cat paw. And how do you get these cat paws? You get them by winning stages. Every time you win a stage, you will receive a cat paw. So I'm currently in stage 16, which means that I already have received 16 cat paws. These cat paws are, in my opinion, some of the most important things in the game, because you keep them even when you prestige. So what is prestiging? When you've reached stage 24, which is the last stage here on the map, it's that one. When you reach that one and you win it, then you will prestige. And prestiging is basically a sort of a reset of your account, but you will keep all of your gems, all of your skills, and all of your cat paws, if I'm correct. So it's very important that you spend these cat paws wisely, as they really matter for the rest of your gameplay. And since there's no reset button, you're kind of stuck with them. So if you choose the wrong ones, you're gonna be stuck with them for a very long time. Okay, so how does this work? You basically pick a certain skill which you want to learn. Each skill can be upgraded 3 times, but take into account the first time you upgrade a skill is going to cost 1 cat paw, the second time is going to cost 2 cat paws, and the third time it's going to cost 3 cat paws. So the price increases, and therefore it's important to consider really spreading out your upgrades. That way you can get more value out of your cat paws, because you get 10% increase of damage here for my stinger if I upgrade this skill, And if I upgrade it a second time, it will also be a 10% increase. It will go from 10% to 20%, but it's going to cost double the amount, like 2 cat paws instead of 1 cat paw. So the first upgrade is obviously more worth it, since it only costs half of the second upgrade. So therefore, I would really suggest spreading out your upgrades and trying to invest in as many different kinds of upgrades. And that way you'll get the most worth out of your cat paws. Now, another thing you want to keep in mind is that there are a lot of things which are very specific. Like if you learn the skill Master of Drills, that's very specific. That's only for drills, and if you don't use a drill in your design, that skill is kind of worthless. So you want to first of all maximize the skills which will benefit you no matter what kind of design you're currently using. So what I'm talking about, there are mostly skills which increase the amount of gold you will be earning. So first of all, bonus coins here gives bonus coins from supply boxes. This isn't too great, but so I wouldn't upgrade it that far immediately, but I would definitely advise putting in 1 cat paw, like upgrade it in 1 time, and it will definitely benefit you. A more important upgrade to get is this one here, the Merchant. Gives bonus coins for selling parts. If you're like me, I have a whole ton of spare parts which I just want to sell to get rid of. And this will give you a lot more coins when selling those items. Like, selling items is really my main source of income, I think. My gold income, so I would definitely advise you getting this upgrade. It really helps. So if you're doing a ton of quick fights, you definitely want to get this cheaper skips upgrade. Skips are kind of expensive, so you definitely want to discount them, but if you're not really an active player, you might not want to use this one. But like if you're doing a ton of quick fights, I would definitely advise you getting that one. Another great one is this one here, the Championship Defense. Gives bonus coins for successful defense in the championship. Normally I get a ton of gold from defending from the championship, so that's especially important here. So I also wanted to take that one. So if you then scroll a bit more to the right, you can see that there's no really any general upgrades to be found anymore. They're all very specific, like, I don't know, like this one is like for toolboxes, attack toolboxes specifically. This one is for knobs. So it's all very specific. So really you can already start to invest in these gold generating skills like in the first 3 brackets. So you really don't need to be high leveled in order to do that. So there will obviously come new skills. I haven't checked them all out, but I don't think they will really give... Oh, this is as one a quick bet reward. Okay, that's actually a good one. Additional bonus to super parts for winning a quick bet. So this might also be like a good option to invest in. Let's see. These are like prestiging upgrades. Like more quick bets, that might be interesting. Unlocks an additional quick bet. Perhaps useful, I don't know. If you really want to bet a lot of times. So more long bets, that's also very useful. So you can see I would really go for these upgrades which doesn't depend on like what you're using. But there are some exceptions though. Because as you can see, my surfer power for surfers is level 3. So really I just said you shouldn't do that. Well, that's correct, but one thing you have to understand is that because of the parts I got 2 legendary wheels which gives you 100% health bonus to my surfer. Surfer is really strong for me personally, and I use surfer almost all the time just because it's such a good option for me, and that's the reason why I invested 6 cat paws in total for power for surfers, because it gives me more power for gives additional power on my surfer, so I can deploy more powerful weapons on my surfer, and it has been really worth it for me. But this is totally player dependent, so you really have to take a look. If it's like obvious, it's like 90% of the time you're using the same kind of weapon or the same kind of vehicle, I would also suggest getting those upgrades. But it's real player dependent, and when you're just starting out in the game, you might not really know what you're going to be using a lot, so definitely wait for that and see what you will be sticking with, and then start purchasing these upgrades. Because at the moment I might have like these really strong legendary wheels, but when I prestige I will lose those wheels and I will have to start over again. And perhaps then I might like get legendary wheels for Titan, and then I will be using Titan all the time, and this upgrade will be kind of useless. So still, be cautious by getting these upgrades specific to body types or weapons, and start off by getting upgrades which give you just additional gold, of which you can always use and are not dependent upon the design which you're using. Okay, so after having explained that, let's dive into the championship. One thing I want to tell you here, the championship is the most important part about cats. How quickly you progress through the championship will determine how good you will be at the game, basically. This should really be your main goal, is to progress as quickly through the championship as possible. Because the quicker you progress through the championship, the better parts you will get, and just the more quick fights you can win, the more money you will get, and just the quicker you can progress through the game, basically. And therefore, I should suggest really focusing on this one. And definitely in the early stages, you should be able to get quite a lot of instant wins, as people don't really know how to build their vehicles yet. Okay? So as you can see, I have been really struggling with the championship, as I have only been able to get instantly promoted once. And it's really difficult, in my opinion, in later stages to get instant wins, because people have just so different designs, and it's just very hard to actually beat them with one layout all at the same time. So the current design I'm using is actually really strong. I'm going to show you. It's a golden surfer, and thanks to these wheels, it actually has 300% its total health value, which is 31k, which is quite impressive. Then we have a very strong laser on top here, which deals 2.1k, and then we also have a forklift. Now, one thing I also want to tell you about forklifts. Forklifts are kind of important, definitely upon surfers. Surfers are very easily flipped by other forklifts, but by implementing your own forklift, you actually kind of negate your opponent's forklift, and you won't get flipped over if you have your own forklift. So forklift is really strong against getting flipped over, and with this forklift you can also flip over your opponent. So I think forklift is just a really good addition to any vehicle, as it's basically a win strategy on its own. This forklift probably wins me 4 matches within the championship on its own. That's quite good. As you can see, I also have one additional weapon slot on the back, which I would definitely like to utilize. But sadly enough, my laser takes up quite a bit of energy. So I'm really hoping that I will get a golden laser, and the early golden lasers don't require that much energy, so then I will be able to deploy 2 weapons upon this surfer, and my vehicle will just totally rock. So now I'm gonna show you, just do the championship here and show you how good it goes. If I'm correct, I'm actually able to beat kind of a lot of guys here with this design. So as you can see, my opponent is using a forklift, and we kind of counter each other, as you can see. So I think I will probably lose this one, because his blade is still able to hit us. But with just a little bit of upgrading to my body's health, we should definitely be able to win this fight. As you can see, the walls will hit my opponent first. So that's definitely a winnable match, basically. Okay, so let's see some more matches here, how things go. This is a little bit strange. Too bad. It seemed like he was going to fall over, so if he would have fallen over, we would have basically won. Okay, this is a pretty strong design this guy has. Rockets are very strong. So let's see if we can flip up this guy. Yeah, there we go. Oh no, he was actually able to hit us. That's a little bit unfortunate. Then we really need just a little bit more health, and then we would be able to lift up those guys. Okay, this is also going to be a loss because the wall will hit us first. Okay, overall it's not going that great though. So let's see if we can win some more here. So we flip this guy over, and we're just really easy. It's just really easy to kill him after. Let's see. Yeah, as you can see, once again, I'm flipping this dude over. Really, I don't have that much power, so I really need a second weapon in the back. That could definitely boost the amount of damage I could deal. But with this forklift alone, I'm able to really take out quite a bit of quite a lot of opponents, basically. So let's see how this fight will go. We also are able to take him out. So 3 more fights to go. Will we be able to beat this one? Yeah, barely able to flip him over. Titans can sometimes be really hard to flip over, actually, especially if they're using very small wheels like knobs and scooters, or rollers, I mean, when they're using knobs and rollers. So we're able to push these guys into the wall. That's quite great. So this is the last fight. I think we'll also be able to win this one just because we have so much health and we will be able to really take in its damage and not lose. Okay, so we won 8 fights out of 14. That's not the best, but it's also not the worst. So what is really important when designing a vehicle to get promoted in the championship? But really, that should be your main goal. Well, what you want to be looking for is when you're doing these fights, basically, you want to see if a match is winnable or not. And what I mean by that, a match is winnable if you can beat your opponent with some upgrading. Like if you're just losing because you don't have enough damage or you don't have enough health, that's a winnable match because all you have to do is upgrade your vehicle, put some toolboxes on it, and you will be able to win that match. But sometimes you simply can't win a match. For example, when you're getting flipped over. When you're getting flipped over, there's just no way you're going to win. No matter how much damage or how much health you have, your opponent will flip you over and you will lose. So that's important to keep in mind. And that's really the kind of design you should be trying to get. It's a design which cannot be countered, basically. You should try to get a design which can always win a fight just by upgrading its health or its attack. So a great design for that is actually the bouncy boulder, as it's called, and it's just a boulder with a booster on top and 2 blades next to it. That's a great design you should always try. Okay, but what if you simply can't build a good enough vehicle to instantly win a championship? That happens quite a lot to me, and it probably happens also quite a lot to you guys. So what should you do then? Well, the important thing is obviously to get into the top 6, right? But that's not always possible and it's kind of difficult. So how do you get into the top 6? Well, my best tip is just use so many different kind of machines. Every design somebody is using is vulnerable against something else, basically. And you can always beat them. Now, how do you do that? You need to take some different kind of designs. And I will probably make a separate video about it, about the best designs in cats. So definitely stay tuned for that video, because that would make this video a little bit too long. But basically you want to test out a whole lot of different designs with different kinds of wheels. So I can give you some pointers though, like the classic is really good for going under people, especially if you put a repulse or a booster like in the front of their nose. This can get under people and you will be able to beat quite a lot of people. Another good solution is the bouncy bowler with the 2 blades, which just jumps over people. Then you want to have a dude with a forklift, so you can lift the other people. Then you want to have a dude which just deals straight up a lot of damage. Then you want to have a dude with a ton of health, basically. Then you want to try out a dude with just rockets, who shoots the opponent from afar. So when you're using all of these kinds of designs, none of these designs will actually be great. But what will happen is that with every single design you will get 1, 2 or 3 wins against some people. And those will get you the medals necessary to get to the top 6. So when the championship's about to end, you just want to rotate these kinds of designs constantly and trying to beat as many people as possible, basically. Also, another small tip is, when you're doing this quick fight, you will first encounter the people who you can still win a medal from. So once you have gotten all the people who you can win a medal from, and you're getting to the people from which you already have won a medal, you can just press the go back button. You will still get your medals, and you won't have to watch all 14 fights, and you just can try and beat them more quicker than they will. So those are just some really good tips I gave you in order to win a championship. And really, I would say like the championship is the most important part of the game. But don't stress this too much, because sometimes you just can't progress. But you should always try to get to the next stage every 2 days and get into the top 6. I think no matter what, that should always be possible. But it's definitely not always possible to get 14 consecutive wins and getting that instant promotion. That's actually quite hard to do. But sometimes you can get a little bit lucky. But I think it's definitely possible no matter what to get into that top 6. Okay, so the next big thing in order to progress in cats is basically these boxes. Now, this is going to take quite a bit of time, but it will help you tremendously. So this is only for really dedicated players, and that's basically just grinding the quick fights. Get those quick fights and get those win streaks. So every win streak of 5, you will receive a crown on a random chest. And every crown on a chest will give a random item within that chest an additional star. And that's really crucial, especially if you're just like in a stage, which is one stage before you can unlock certain parts. So for example, let's say I'm in stage 14, which means I normally can only get 5-star military parts, but because there's a crown on the chest, I'm actually able to get like a 1-star golden part. And I was actually able to do that. Oh, I don't have an example here, but I was actually able to do that. Oh yeah, I actually have. As you can see, like, I was like in stage 9, and as you can see, I'm using a military 1-star stinger over there, and it actually gave me like 2 wins. It got me instantly promoted to stage 10 and to stage 11. So that's quite good, and so that's really crucial. Getting those crowns, they can really make a difference, but they just cost so much time to actually grind. And really, I haven't been doing it lately, to be honest, just because it takes so much time. And in order to do so, to get those win streaks, you really need to be able to like evaluate whether or not you'll be able to win a fight, basically. But yeah, so if you just have a lot of time, that's what you should do. It definitely helps out a lot, but it's really for people who have a lot of time available. So then one last thing I still need to talk about are these bets. And one thing you might ask, are these bets worth it? In my opinion, definitely yes. So basically, what happens when you lose a bet is that you have to recover your items with gems. Otherwise, you will lose your items. But in most situations, you actually don't want to lose the items, so you'll recover it with gems. Recovering every item costs about 3 to 7 gems for every item. So that's not a whole lot, and the only other way you can actually spend gems is by opening up or buying chests. And I don't think that's a great way to spend your gems, so I definitely think you should use your gems to recover items from lost bets. Now, there are 2 different things. You have the short bet and you have the long bet. So what should you use the short bet for? Basically, the short bet should be used to see what kind of bonus a certain part gives. So let's go over here. And I'll show you. So like this part has a 20% bonus to sticky roller, but I don't know what bonus this part will have. So therefore I will put it in a short bet. And you can see with this laser, I actually did that. I did a short bet with this laser. And as you can see, it gives 1% bonus to boulder. So even though if I upgrade this all the way, his bonus percentage will always be to boulder. So there's really no use to like bet this item, because it would only get bonus percentage to a boulder, and I'm using this laser on a surfer, so there's no use for it. So what you want to do is with the short bets, you want to really test out what kind of bonuses your items give. So put items in the short bet which you're not sure yet which kind of bonus they have. That way you can figure out. And then you have the long bet, and the long bet should really be used to upgrade the bonuses of useful parts, basically, of parts which have a synergistic value. And that's really what you should be doing, and that's really worth it, because like getting a 6% bonus, like you bet like 10 or 12 times and you will have 60% bonus, which is the maximum. You can't actually get 100% bonuses because it's only for legendary items. Normal items can only get a maximum bonus of 60%, but 60% really makes a lot of difference. So therefore I definitely suggest you doing these long bets for useful items, because it will definitely make a difference. I had like a body, I think, a surfer body, which like gave additional damage to lasers, and I was using like two lasers, which in total did 3k damage or something, and then it did like 50% bonus to that. So that was quite insane, and it was definitely worth it. Now the thing is, it's not always so obvious as to who is gonna win a certain bet. One thing you could do is obviously look at the amount of people which voted for one side or another, and that's like, I would say 70% or 80% of the time the majority is correct, but keep in mind, like in 20% or 1/5 of all bets, the majority will be wrong. So it's quite important to also evaluate yourself and really go with your gut, basically, and see what you believe will win. It's important to look at the damage values, but it's really not all which matters, because cars can get flipped over. I don't know, all kind of stuff can happen. So you really shouldn't only focus on the damage values and their health. You should really also look at the design, like wheels can be very important. So in this case, I actually think the left guy will win, even though he has a lot less damage, and I think he will be able to flip over the opponent, and it will render the opponent completely useless. So I think the majority in this time is actually correct. So yeah, those were like all the beginner tips I have. I have been playing this game for two weeks, and I think if you follow my advice here, which I just gave you, you should be off to a pretty great start in this game. So as promised, I will also be making a video in the future with like the best car designs which you can have for your vehicle, which are especially useful for winning the championship. Also, don't forget, we just hit 10,000 subscribers, so I'll definitely be doing a special video. I don't know, perhaps we might open like a super giant box or something. That would be like a cool special, I think, but I'm not 100% certain about that. We could also do a Q&A or something. I'm still wondering what I should do, but I'm really glad for this major milestone. I'm very happy about it, and who knows, perhaps we might be even able to reach 100k subs like in a couple of years. Who knows? That would be totally awesome though. So yeah, there you go. Those were all my tips. If you'd like this video, definitely don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more cats videos. Like this video if you did. And also there's a Facebook group and a Reddit subreddit from which I will put the links below in the description. So definitely check those out if you want to interact with the community. Thanks for watching, fellow foxes. Take care and see you next time.